So if you have an interest in having your students collaborate on various activities, Google Docs is actually a very nice place to send the students. And so in this presentation, what we're going to do is take a look at Google Docs. The specific topics we'll talk about will begin with Google Drive, which is the storage area used by Google Docs, but it's also the area where you run the programs from, which are all cloud-based, of course, so they don't really exist on that drive. And we'll talk about how to set up the drive, how to share it, how to access the programs. Then the next thing we'll do is we'll take a look at the types of documents that you can create with Google Docs. And it's pretty simple. It's, word processing documents, spreadsheets, drawings, and surveys are the main categories. It's a fairly similar combination to what you might get in Office presentations as well. We'll then talk a little bit on how you might design a collaborative assignment. And this relates to the plagiarism and the class project assignment discussion, where we used Google Docs as the basis for putting things together. But it's actually a very nice place to set up collaborations. So Google Docs are essentially inseparable from Google Drive. So what I'm going to do right now is I am going to go to Google, and on Google, one of the things you are likely to see is this little grid here. And this grid provides you with access to all the different Google features. There's also a desktop version of this, which will take you directly to specific features if you want to install it, but usually it's just as easy to go to Google. You can see my photo here. That means I'm logged into Google, and you get a Google account as soon as you have a Gmail account. Now, that means that all of our students automatically have Google accounts because the USF student accounts are handled through Gmail. On the other hand, as a faculty member, in the near future, all of our accounts will be handled through Microsoft Office 365, which means that we'll have a OneDrive account, but not necessarily a Google account. So if you do not have a Gmail account, you want to set one up for free so that you can access all the features of Google Docs. Having said that, I will now go to the apps, and I will go to Google Drive. Now, I've already been doing some projects on my Google Drive. For example, I've got a faculty workshop folder that I have already created. I have some folders for the fall and spring master's courses where we did those collaborations. And I created a pre-QA chapter so that the spring of 2014 could review the chapters created by fall 2013. And then I also have some materials in this main area which I have not given access to students. Google Docs is essentially totally built around your Google Drive. And so we'll talk about the types of documents shortly, but if you want to create a document, if you click on create, what will happen is it will give you a list of the different document types you can use, and I'll save that for the next segment. Google gives you quite a bit of space, I think 15 gigabytes, and the only time that space is likely to become a problem is if you find yourself allowing students to upload things like videos to your Google Docs account. And that actually is where a lot of my volume came, because for some of the debate assignments that I had for the Masters of Science capstone course, some of the students actually uploaded their videos to my Google Docs account. So the thing that I want to mention is that when you're creating student accounts, one of the things you're going to do is want to share access to specific folders. And you can tell in my folders that I've shared these because they have little people there. So when the faculty start registering for the workshop, what I will do is I will click on this folder here, and one of the things I can do is add people. So I will ask faculty to give me their Gmail address, and then I will click this button, and I will simply type in the Gmail address, send an invitation, and the faculty will be able to access it. In addition, I can give this link, which will allow them to directly jump to my uh, specific folder that I've shared. However, in order to do so, they will have to be logged into Google, and they will have to have been authorized with me. So I'm not going to provide any access right now because I don't know whose Gmail accounts to put in. Other things, you can create a new folder. Actually, that would be under the create option. You can move the folder somewhere, so I could put this under some other folder. I have some other options. Here's the new folder. I could also create a specific type of document. The share is the same as going to that share option. Add a star. I can move the folders. I can rename it. It's a little bit more cumbersome than Windows Explorer on your own drive, but on the other hand, it is very convenient because it is a nice common area where files can be shared, and it is particularly useful when you're creating collaborative exercises, which will be the last thing I talk about in this video. Google Docs is essentially a collaborative suite of tools like Microsoft Office. And because it's hosted in the cloud, you can actually have many individuals share the same file. Google Docs come in their own formats, and the types of documents that you can create are shown under Create. We talked about creating a folder in the last segment. You can create a document. This is similar to Word. You can create a presentation. This is similar to PowerPoint. You can create a spreadsheet, similar to Excel. And you can create a form, which is a very nice capability for surveys. And we have another video dealing with that. And you can create a drawing, a little bit like, say, Corel Draw. None of these capabilities are as sophisticated as their Office counterparts, but on the other hand, they are free and they're accessible from anywhere, and they will run on Macs and PCs and various other devices. We're going to focus right now on the Word doc, on the documents that mimic Word. And I will show you, for example, a template that I created so that I can open this up. And what we see is a fairly standard editor. This is actually the template that I gave to my students to create chapters for the book that they are preparing. And so what it does is I make extensive use of styles. We talk a little bit about that in the Acrobat video. This is heading 1. This is my normal text. And we encourage people to use style because it makes it a lot easier to move stuff back and forth. Within the document, one of the things that you can do is that you can download the document as a Word document or in a variety of other formats, including PDF. And that makes it very convenient for moving things around. So if you have a collaboration, you can download them to document types. And the only thing that is not very convenient about these is that the actual Google Doc internal format is not really support it on your normal PC, or at least I haven't found a way to do it. So I usually move it into Word or one of the other formats if I want to move the documents down. So it's a rather simpler editor, but it also allows you to open comments so that individuals can do a lot of the types of things that you would do, say, in track changes when they're collaborating. And they provide a variety of editing tools. I'll let you go through all these. I'll just go quickly through the menu. You can insert images, links, just like a normal thing. You can insert drawings that you created, say, in Google Docs. You know, you've got a certain amount of formatting. In some respects, it's nice not to have a huge amount of formatting available because it makes it easier to move the documents around. It's got a spell checker, a word count. You can do Google Translate, which can be a little exciting. Like all the Google programs, it supports scripts, but that's a fairly advanced topic. It gives you the ability to insert and modify tables. And there are various add-ons that are available. I have not been using them because I am trying to avoid creating incompatibilities. So that is the basics of the word processor, and that is the tool that I most commonly want to use for collaborative activities. To conclude this video, I thought I would talk briefly about the processes that I use to create a collaborative assignment. And the assignment I'm talking about is the one that was detailed in Plagiarism in the Class Project. And what I think the key to getting a reasonably successful result in an assignment like this is, first off, you need to be very specific in your instructions. So, for example, one of the things that I did as I was having students work together to prepare chapters was I created a master chapter template, and we saw this earlier in the video. It basically defines all the different forms that I wanted people to use in preparing a chapter. So it gave them an outline. For the chapter, it talked a little bit about the writing styles, and the idea is they'd get rid of all this stuff and they'd actually use this template. It talked about how I wanted to see references. It talked about things like tables, where captions should go, and so forth. So it was designed to basically make it easy for students to go in and actually create a chapter that was formatted properly from the start. Now, I also had a document that specifically identified different types of formatting for different types of references. I used this from the Informing Science Institute since they were going to publish the final work. This is basically a simplified APA format. I clearly identified what I want students to do in the reviews. So if you take a look at the review template, I identified the questions I wanted them to answer, greatest strengths, areas for improvement, and specific suggestions, so that each student would create their own review and save it in the folder where the documents were headed. I created within the various areas, for example, in the fall area, I created separate folders for each chapter. I identified where they were to put reviews. I gave them copies of the master template that they could then make copies of to create their own chapters. If we take a look, for example, in here, I identified the resources was a place where I gave them that they could put reviews and they could put PowerPoint slides. The thing is that when you're going to do this type of thing, you have to be very, very specific in your instructions. Otherwise, pandemonium will result. And there's a certain sense in which pandemonium is likely to result, even if you are specific in your instructions, because there are always going to be things that you forget. So you have to monitor the process very carefully. Uh, but you will be able to see the end results on Canvas. And frankly, I think that overall the process went fairly well, excluding the fact that the first semester I had to keep students for an extra week to deal with the plagiarism and all the other issues that arose. But overall, I think the product that we got was really quite good, and the Informing Science Institute has indicated that they're ready to publish it. So these are the types of things that you need to think about. And I anticipate specifically within the DBA program that we will try to create a lot of these types of collaborative writing activities, because this will allow our DBA students to develop publishable materials very early in the process, and will get them very well organized when it comes time for them to work on their final dissertation or project.